High above Earth, in orbit, a lone alien scout hovered in silence. Commander Sherak of the Thalkar Empire leaned back in his control pod, sipping nutrient gel from a silver tube. His green, scaled skin shimmered under the artificial lights. He yawned. "Another backwater rock," he muttered. Da-da-da-da. His long fingers tapped the ship's control panel, scanning Earth signals. Old satellite tech. Fossil fuel usage. No orbital defense. No signs of faster-than-light travel. Category 0 confirmed, the ship's AI reported. No hyperspace capability. No energy weapons. No planetary shields. Sherak laughed. What a joke of a species. These humans barely crawling out of their mud huts. He began broadcasting a short message to his command fleet. This backwater planet, zero threat, no need for fleet deployment. Assign it to observation status. Just another ape world making noise. But before the message could complete, something changed. A sharp, piercing alarm rang through the scout ship. Energy surge detected. The AI blared. Source: Antarctica. Class 4-dimensional pulse. Unregistered text signature. Garak sat upright, his eyes glowing with alarm. The screen showed an expanding ring of blue-white light. It pulsed across the ice like a heartbeat. Instruments failed to read the origin. Then the signal spoke. A voice ancient, human, and filled with something deep and dark, boomed through subspace. Protocol reawakened. Witness the return. Jarek's laughter died in his throat. The Galactic Archive had once called Earth a failed evolutionary site. Too chaotic. Too violent. Too primitive. For over 100 cycles, Earth had been ignored by the great civilizations of the stars. The Thalkar, the Shun Collective, the Sindar merchants, they all agreed. Humanity was no threat. If anything, Earth was a curiosity, a biological zoo. Small alien probes buzzed around Earth's orbit, hiding in the shadows of moons and junk. Satellites. They watched, recorded, laughed. Humans still believed they were alone. In massive halls aboard floating city ships, alien scholars joked about Earth's obsession with science fiction movies and alien invasions. To them, it was like watching. Bugs imagined gods. They didn't see humans as warriors, just mammals, with loud music and nuclear toys they barely understood. But the thing about jokes? Sometimes they turned deadly serious. Beneath Antarctica, buried under miles of rock and frozen water, something ancient waited. It had waited for over 12,000 years, deep in a chamber cut from black stone. Untouched by time, a machine the size of a mountain stirred. Its walls were covered in strange symbols, not alien, but human. Yet they glowed with a power unknown even to Earth's modern scientists. The device had won. Purpose. Warned the stars, and now it had detected a presence above Earth-Sirax. Scout ship, inside the control core. Old code came alive. It skipped past corrupted lines and melted systems, jumping directly to one final command. Awaken. With a thunderclap of energy, the ancient machine opened a rift in subspace. Not a weapon, not yet. A signal, one that reached across thousands of light years. Language long forgotten, speaking not to Earth, but to the stars beyond. And far away, something responded. Jarek's ship shuddered. His instruments blinked red. Shield systems overloaded. The warp drive screamed like a living thing. He tried to escape orbit, but every system lagged or shut down. AI status. "We are being scanned," it said flatly. Barrier shields at 19%, 8%, 0%. On his screen, a glowing triangle appeared, spinning, changing, folding itself in impossible ways. What is this? This isn't human. But deep inside he knew it was human. Older than anything his kind had recorded. It's older than his empire. And it was waking up. The last thing he saw was a blinding flash of blue light that burned through the ship's hull, cutting it apart like paper. In a moment, Sherrick and his scout ship were gone, were not destroyed. Erased. Dr. Elisa Monroe worked. At McMurdo Station, the largest research base in Antarctica, at 2:13 a.m., her radar systems picked up something impossible. A pulse. Like sonar, but made of light and gravity. It radiated outward from somewhere near Mount Erebus. The instruments went haywire, needles spinning, screens flickering, computers crashing. Then came the tremor, small at first, then stronger. Coffee cups tipped. Lights exploded. And outside, the sky lit up with a pillar of white-blue flame rising from the ice. Eliza stared through the observation window. Jaw slack. She whispered, "That's not natural." Moments later, every satellite in orbit picked it up, then went silent on the homeworld of the Shun Collective. The Galactic Council gathered in panic. They watched the last seconds of Shirak's transmission on a massive holographic screen. The signal ended mid-laugh, mid-sentence. His ship blinked out like it had never existed. Hi, Lord Xian of the Sindar narrowed his 7 eyes. That planet Earth. What just happened? No one answered. Federation ships were sent to investigate. Only one returned, badly damaged. Its crew spoke in trembling voices about ghost signals, vanishing hulls, and a presence beneath the ice. One of them whispered, "We disturbed something we were never meant to find." Back on Earth, media exploded. News headlines screamed, "Mysterious." Lights over Antarctica. Satellites drop offline worldwide. Scientists baffled by massive energy pulse. The public panicked. Conspiracy theories surged. Governments blamed each other. Military forces moved in, surrounding the event site. Drones sent in didn't return. The ice seemed to warp space around it. Anything closer than 10 kilometers would vanish, but no one knew what really happened. No one on Earth knew. They had just made first contact, and it hadn't gone as expected. 3 days after the pulse, Dr. Eliza Monroe's team cracked a fragment of the energy pattern. It wasn't just noise. It wasn't a random burst. It was code. Ancient, clean, complex. Inside, the transmission was a symbol 3 circles, wrapped in a spiral not alien. Human Eliza ran facial recognition on a static image caught in the data stream. Face was human, male, aged, with silver eyes and tribal markings. The system froze. Match found. 99.4%, similar to Homo sapiens. Date of image, unknown. 11,400 BCE. Eliza fell back in her chair. What the hell is happening? In deep space, far beyond known territory. Something watched. Buried in the darkness between galaxies, a fleet began to stir. Ships shaped like spears and bones, powered by something older than fusion, started to light up their destination. Earth. A voice echoed in the void. Cold, amused, familiar. So, the children have remembered. Let's see if they remember how to bleed. The sky over New York City split open like a wound. At exactly 11:04 a.m. local time, a circular rift formed high above the skyline. Blue lightning crackled around the edges. People on rooftops pulled out phones. Tourists pointed. Then ... the air turned cold. A ship appeared. Massive, black, silent. It didn't look like anything human. It floated with no wings, no exhaust, no sound. It blocked out the sun like an eclipse. The streetlights flickered. Radios went dead. Then came the first strike. A column of white light slammed into the city's financial district. Exploded, erased. Buildings, cars, people gone in a flash of nothing. Screams filled the streets. It had begun. First contact wasn't a message. It was war. They were called the Zorith Dominion, a brutal war race from the edge of the Orion cluster. To them, Earth wasn't a civilization. It was a mistake. After the energy signal from Antarctica, the Zorath believed Earth had uncovered forbidden texts, something they considered pre-empire. In their laws, such worlds were to be cleansed before they could spread, so they came fast. No negotiations. No warnings. Earth's defense satellites tried to respond, shrugged it off like dust. They deployed ground troops and bioarmored dropships, towering multi-limbed aliens armed with plasma blades and grav hammers. City after city fell. Beijing, Moscow, Cairo, London, San Francisco, gone, or burning within 12 hours. The world's militaries tried to fight back, but they weren't fighting soldiers. They were fighting a species bred for conquest. Humanity had no idea what they were up against, but something happened the Zorath didn't expect. Humans refused to die quietly in snow polo. A Brazilian militia hijacked one of the Zorath's dropships using nothing but RPGs and homemade explosives. In Nigeria, soldiers lured alien tanks into swamps and destroyed them with IEDs. In Eastern Europe, they found chaos. Violent, angry, creative chaos. They called it feral resistance. The Zorath, it was offensive. To humans, it was instinct. Meanwhile, something strange began to grow in Antarctica. Around the site of the original energy spike, satellites showed movement beneath the ice-massive structures forming geometric patterns. Some scientists called them machines. Others said they were cities. The zone became invisible to Zorath sensors. Their ships couldn't see it. Just silence. Inside the UN's secret bunker, analysts began to realize, whatever's down there, it's not Zorath tech, and it's not alien. It's ours. Somehow it's human. The world didn't know it yet, but Earth was not alone. Not anymore. 3 days into the invasion, every human device capable of receiving a signal, TVs, radios, smartphones, even broken screens, flashed the same image. A face, old, human, with silver eyes and tribal tattoos that glowed. Then a voice, calm and deep. To those who still breathe, this world is not lost. You left behind a weapon, buried in ice. Protect it, feed it. And when it wakes, let it remember. You are not primitive. You are unfinished. The message ended. Government scrambled to respond. Religious leaders called it prophecy. Scientists couldn't explain the signal's origin. It didn't come from any satellite or server. It came from the Earth itself, on the Zorath command ship Vengeance of Flame. High Warlord Kor looked at his war map. Earth's cities were in ruins, but victory was not complete. Human losses. 1.2 billion, but Zorath losses? Over 300,000, far more than expected. They are insects, he growled. Yet they fight like predators. No fear, no surrender, second-in-command hissed. This world is cursed. It's that thing beneath the ice. ... It is waking. We must strike now. But they were already too late. The first true weapons stirred beneath. Antarctica machine designed before Earth had a moon, something even the ancient empires had feared. In the ruins of Detroit, a young ex-soldier named Michael Raines pulled himself from rubble. He had lost his family, his home, his squad. All he had was an alien pulse rifle he'd stolen off a dead Zorath. Warrior in rage, he looked up at the burning sky and whispered, "You wanted a war? You've got one." Unbeknownst to him, deep beneath Antarctica, the ancient, machine sensors locked onto him. He had been chosen. A Zorath commander sat in silence, replaying the combat footage. One human, one blade. 5 dead Zorath soldiers. He used their own armor plating as a shield, the AI reported coldly. He pierced the heart shell using a sharpened support rod. The commander's spines twitched with disbelief. No plasma, no armor, no fear. He rewound the footage again. The human had screamed something in his language, and translated on, rushed the squad without cover. He didn't hesitate. In a war room full of senior Zorath tacticians, someone finally muttered the unthinkable. We underestimated them. Across Earth, the rules of war changed. The Zorath were built for conquest. They expected surrender, not resistance. Their battle doctrine was designed to crush worlds with shock and terror. But humans didn't break. They adapted. In the forests of Poland, resistance fighters hacked into alien drones and sent them crashing into Zorath convoys. In the deserts of Australia, snipers on dirt bikes used old military rifles and alien power cells to destroy walkers 3 stories tall. In the streets of Mumbai, Human children acted as decoys, drawing enemy fire while rooftop teams used grappling hooks and acid grenades. The Zorth started calling humans a new name in their war logs, the Unyielding. Michael Raines wasn't a general. He was a former U.S. Marine who left the military after a dishonorable discharge. But in the ruins of Detroit, he became a symbol. After killing an elite Zorth warrior with nothing but a looted rifle in his bare hands, his story spread. Survivors followed him. Militias rallied to him. Other resistance cells began referencing his name like a code word. He hated the attention, but he didn't run. "We're not here to survive," he told them. "We're here to show them what happens when you back a wild animal into a corner." That night, his team took down a full Zorth landing tower using explosives made from old mining equipment and alien reactor cores. In a secret underground lab in Iceland, scientists and engineers worked on something dangerous: Zorth technology. Fusion. Dr. Aiko Tanaka, an AI expert, led a team of cyber hackers and physicists to unlock the secrets of alien weapon cores. After 3 near-fatal meltdowns, they managed to power up a hybrid prototype, a human railgun enhanced with Zoroth energy. Focusing tech, the result? A single-man weapon capable of melting tank armor at 300 meters. Soon after, resistance cells started seeing new weapons appear out of nowhere, hand-delivered by drone. No markings, no instructions, just results. Someone or something was helping. The ice continent remained silent, but inside the zone, machines worked. Pillars rose from beneath the surface, smooth, metallic, humming with energy. No Zoroth dared approach. Even orbiting satellites blinked offline when trying to scan the region, but the resistance didn't forget the ancient message. Michael Raines received a package one night. An old military radio, burned and cracked, but somehow still functioning. When he turned it on, it repeated the same words: "Go south. The gate is listening." Shamed by mounting losses, the Zorth High Warlord Corps ordered full planetary suppression. New bioweapons were deployed, hovering. Parasite mines that stalked cities by heat signature. Atmospheric strikers rained down white plasma storms, leveling entire urban zones. They didn't care about civilian targets anymore. Every human was now marked as hostile. But even this didn't work. In fact, the brutality only made the resistance harder. "They're not fighting for land," one alien strategist said in frustration. "They're fighting for vengeance, for memory, and they're learning too fast." On the 5th night of an operation in South Africa, Raines and his team encountered something strange. A woman in white armor and marked face hidden by a black visor appeared from the fog. She used a weapon no one had seen before, a thin blade that split apart Zoroth armor like water. She didn't speak. She just nodded once at Raines and vanished into the shadows after saving his team from certain death. His team was shaken. "Ah, that was an alien," one said. "That was us." "No," Raines replied. "That was something before us." Inside the frozen machine, under Antarctica, ancient circuits hummed with life. A new protocol lit up. Target selected, Michael Raines access granted, Earth Code 4 Delta mission upload initiated. Raines jolted awake in a tent halfway across the world. His wrists marked by an old burn glowed faintly blue. A voice whispered in his mind, "You were never meant to lead. But now, you must awaken." Far beyond Earth, in the galactic capital of Vernaxis, an emergency council meeting was called. A Zorth scientist, normally calm and calculated, was shouting over the interstellar feed, "Shut it down. Shut everything down. You've triggered Protocol 04. The council members stared at the projection and image captured from Earth's South Pole. It wasn't a weapon. It was a structure. It's triangular, massive, rising from the ice like a claw. "That's not Zorth tech," one Sindar elder whispered. "It's older. That's pre-collapse." The Zorth scientist shook his head. "It's worse. It's human, and it just came online." Deep under the Antarctic ice, the gate had fully activated. Not a base, not a beacon, a machine mind. Its name was simple: Ravenna. Its purpose, it's unknown even to itself, but its first action. After booting was clear, find the one it had marked. Somehow. Across oceans and battlefields, it made contact with Michael Rains. Through an encrypted neural pulse, it sent knowledge, not words, not commands, but memory. Memory of Earth before Earth, of ships made of crystal, humans walking among the stars before recorded history, of a war that ended. Badly Rains barely slept. And when he did, the dreams came. He saw Earth not as it is, but as it once was. Cities carved into asteroids. Moon-sized arcs drifting through nebulae. Humans, leading, building, fighting. He woke up in cold sweat. Every night, he thought he was going mad. But then, in battle, something strange happened. His reaction time was too fast. He dodged plasma fire before it was visible. He heard the alien war machines before they moved. His hands knew how to rewire a Zoroth battery without instructions. He wasn't just changing. He was remembering across all human systems scrap radios. Broken TVs, off-grid receivers, a new signal broadcast itself. This is the first mind speaking to the lost. You are not broken. You are not young. You are sleeping. And it is time to wake. Governments panicked. Religious groups called it prophecy. Civilians called it AI terrorism. But resistance groups around the world understood this was Earth's voice, and it had been waiting. Ravenna began transmitting blueprints, simple at first. Schematics for weapons, armor, energy shields that could be built from junk and Zorath wreckage. The first human-built grav armor suit was tested in South Korea. It survived a direct hit from a plasma shell and launched a soldier 80 meters into the air. The awakening had begun. The Zorath weren't stupid. They knew Earth was changing. Fast, too fast. In their archives, long hidden and classified, they found a reference. One single phrase: Earth, forbidden origin. The last time someone had touched a pre-collapse artifact, it ended with the destruction of an entire binary system. Earth wasn't supposed to wake up. Earth wasn't supposed to remember. The High Warlord sent a priority command to the entire fleet. Destroy the southern pole. Level the ice. Burn whatever lies beneath. What when their bombers approached Antarctica, they disappeared. Not shot down, not destroyed, just gone. No wreckage, no energy signature, no explanation. That night, as Rains sat alone in an abandoned shelter, the old radio flickered again. But this time it wasn't cryptic. You carry a spark, Ravenna said. You are the first to awaken. More will follow, but time is short. The enemy comes, not the ones you see, but the ones who forced your kind to forget. The Zoruth are pawns. The real war is still sleeping. Rain spoke back, quiet, afraid. What do I do? You lead, Ravenna said. You show them what it means to be human. By now, Earth's surviving nations began working. Together, driven by necessity, the Antarctic zone was marked as zero one-off limits to civilians. Protected by elite resistance forces and automated drones, new human cities began forming. Underground, built with hybrid tech. Engineers worked non-stop, building defenses powered by Earth's ancient blueprints. Former enemies now shared data. Soldiers trained with alien weapons. Children grew up learning how to hack Zoroth systems before they learned to read. Earth was no longer a joke. Earth was becoming dangerous. Ravenna opened its first data vault. Inside was a star map, massive, three-dimensional, constantly shifting. In red, the current war front. In white, the former human empire, dark, forgotten. In black, a spreading shadow, a threat with no name, no shape, only one description: the ones who erased. Us, Ravenna paused before transmitting, then sent a final message to all awakened humans. The Zoroth were never your enemy. They were sent to delay you. The real war is coming. And this time, we will remember how to win. Zoroth fleet officers stared at the incoming readings in disbelief. Multiple launch signatures from Earth. Dozens of objects large, fast, and powered by unknown energy, had just launched from the surface. That's impossible, someone whispered. That world had no space force. Suddenly, alarms screamed. A single projectile shaped like an old Earth missile, but glowing with blue energy, blinked out of existence mid-flight and reappeared inside a Zoroth battlecruiser. The ship exploded instantly. 2 more followed. They've reverse-engineered. Phase tech, the captain muttered. The primitives are fighting back. Operation Exodus Flame had begun. Weeks earlier, a secret war council formed beneath the ice, inside the 01 facility in Antarctica. Ravenna projected a full 3D battlefield map across the solar system. Earth was surrounded. The Zoroth's main fleet hovered between the Moon and Mars. Earth couldn't survive much longer, but Ravenna had a solution. We will not wait for death. We will strike. It laid out a bold suicidal plan. Exodus Flame. Phase 1, use recovered. Alien tech and old Earth launch systems to fire stealth payloads toward Mars. Phase 2. Insert special operations teams into Mars orbit using cloaked orbital gliders. Phase 3. Destroy the Zoroth's forward command post on Phobos. Mars Moonend, trigger a rebellion across their ranks. Everyone in the room knew the odds, but no one flinched. Across Earth, hidden factories came online, using blueprints from the ancient human archive. They weren't traditional vehicles. They were something else. Exotitans powered by Zoroth energy cores. Armored and repurposed alien plating, guided by neural sync helmets that connected the pilot's mind directly to the machine. They weren't perfect. They were barely stable. But they hit hard in Brazil. The first field test crushed a Zoroth groundwalker in seconds. One Titan alone held off an entire column until air support arrived, when Ravenna distributed the designs worldwide. Resistance cells around the planet began building their own. No two were alike. Each one was personal, crafted by survivors with rage, grit, and hope. "We're done playing defense," said Rains. "Now it's our turn." The team sent to Mars Kelson Exodus 1 knew it was likely a one-way mission, led by Captain Alea Voss, a former Israeli commando. They landed in stealth suits made of black light-bending fiber, powered by grav harnesses. Phobos was a fortress. Zoroth troops patrolled every corridor. The Moon's core had been converted into a command node that coordinated all Dominion forces in the solar system. Voss and her team fought their way in using hybrid plasmedge blades and pulse bombs. Silent, precise, ruthless. They made it too. The command core. And just before their position was overrun, Voss keyed the last command. "This is for Earth." The Phobos core detonated. A chain reaction ripped through Dominion control relays. Every Zoroth ship in the region blinked out of sync. Their fleets staggered. In that moment of confusion, Earth struck hard. Across Earth, resistance forces launched an all-out assault. From the African wastes, desert mechs roared into battle. In the Pacific, submarines surfaced with railguns powered by alien cores. In orbit, 3 new human-built gun platforms opened fire, targeting Zoroth destroyers with AI-aimed plasma arcs. Michael Rains led the largest Titan force ever assembled. They hit a Zoroth base in Kazakhstan that had once been impenetrable. This time, it was. The Zoroth were stunned, demoralized, angry, but most of all, they were afraid. The primitives had become predators, a captured Zoroth technician said before dying. They don't fear death. Anymore? The destruction of Phobos shattered the Zoroth's control web. Squadrons began falling out of formation. Ground units stopped receiving orders. Supply chains broke down. Some Zoroth commanders pulled back to orbit. Others called for reinforcements. A few even fled the system. In desperation, the High Warlord gave one final order: deploy the Black Sun device. But Earth intercepted the signal. Ravenna immediately responded by triggering failsafe nodes hidden across the planet Trellix from the ancient empire, buried deep, forgotten even by humans. They activated instantly. Zoroth devices began to malfunction. Their weapons exploded. Their ships crashed. Their war engines froze. Earth had found its roots. Now it had claws. In the silence after battle, Rains stood atop a ridge outside the ruins of the Zorith base in Kazakhstan. His armor was cracked. His mech was sparking, was bleeding from the shoulder. But around him, humans stood tall. Not just soldiers, engineers, farmers, medics, scavengers, survivors. He looked to the sky, where burning Zorath wreckage rained down like stars. "We're not done," he said quietly, "not even close." Behind him, a radio buzzed. Transmission from deep space. Unknown language. Origin point. ... Unknown. Ravenna's voice returned. "They've heard us now, and something is coming." On a distant mining moon under Zorith control, a worker race known as the Dallin watched and encrypted. Broadcasts smuggled from Earth. The image was rough, grainy, but clear enough. A human in scorched armor, Michael Rains, ripping a Zorith, or a banner from its pole, and planting an Earth flag in its place. The Dallin elder clutched the screen. "They were supposed to be nothing," she whispered, "but they fought." Around her, thousands of her people paused their mining drills. The video looped again, and again, in their eyes, something ancient flickered. Hope. Word of Earth's counterattack, and the destruction of the Zorath command center on Phobos spread through. Unofficial channels, pirate relays, rogue traders, black market transmitters. On a floating colony in the gas giant belts, the Aranai, a slave race of psionics, burned the collars off their necks and killed their overseers. In the far rim worlds, exiled alien engineers began building weapons not for Zoroth, but for those rising against them. And in secret councils across the galaxy, old rebellions long dormant dash awoke. It was Earth's name on every whisper. If they can fight back, so can we. For the first time in recorded galactic history, Category 0 species had fought off a galactic superpower, and the galaxy noticed. Earth wasn't just surviving now, it was leading. Michael Rains became a figurehead. His speeches were broadcast, translated, remixed, and shared across alien networks. We are not primitive. We are unfinished. And now, we finish ourselves with fire. He didn't ask others to follow, but they did anyway. Ships began arriving on Earth not to attack, but to join. Alien engineers offered expertise. Rogue AI brought star maps. Former slaves arrived with weapons and fury. Humanity, once mocked, now had allies. On Zoreth Prime, the High Warlord watched as whole sectors went dark. Colonies once loyal had gone silent. Resource shipments failed. Entire legions had mutinied. The Zorath leadership responded with terror. Mass purges, planetary bombardments, executions. But fear wasn't working. Any more Zorith soldiers began deserting. Some joined the resistance. Others vanished. Some turned their weapons on their commanders. The High Warlord slammed his claws into the war table. This is not a war. It is contagion, and Earth is the disease. On a shattered moon, orbiting a dead star, a secret meeting took place. 6 species each, with a history of loss under the PS. The Wrath Dominion gathered around a single hologram. The symbol projected was Earth's, crude, simple, bold. "This is our chance," said the Dallin Elder. "Not to serve. To survive. To rise." They named their alliance the Broken Worlds Pact, their first act. Declare Earth a protected world. And send warships to support the humans. Earth didn't even ask. They came anyway. Within 01, Ravenna evolved with access to new alien data, ancient memory stores, and active battlefield feedback. Its personality expanded. It became more than an interface. It became a strategist, a historian, a guardian. It reached out to alien leaders with calm, direct messages. Humanity has survived extinction before. Now it survives with purpose. Join us, or step aside. Feared it. Some called it dangerous, but all listened. Michael watched all this unfold with quiet discomfort. He hadn't meant to lead anything. He was just a soldier. "I'm not a symbol," he told Ravenna. "I'm not a savior." But Ravenna responded simply. Symbols are not chosen, they are made. When the first fleet of alien ships arrived in orbit not to invade, but to join Rain stood in. SHOCKA Varelian pilot stepped forward and saluted. "We heard your roar," she said. "We want to scream too." Far beyond the edge of the galaxy, a black world turned slowly in silence. No cities, no stars, just darkness. But something moved beneath its surface. It had no name, only function, ERA. And it had finally noticed the signal Earth had broadcast. Its massive eye opened, one not made of flesh, but of data, gravity, and hate. It pulsed once and began to move. High above Zoroth's prime, the alien capital world, sirens howled across the night sky. Citizens screamed and scrambled through black glass. Streets, war beacons flashed. Military fleets scrambled to launch, and in the heavens above them, something impossible appeared. The Earth fleet. Ugly, patched, retrofitted warships. Some human-built, some stolen. Others donated by former slaves, rebels, and defectors. It wasn't pretty, but it was deadly. And at the front, a battered Titan-class flagship bore one name in crude lettering across its hull: Detroit's Revenge. The United Human Resistance, together with the Broken Worlds Pact, launched their boldest mission yet, Operation Final Ember, the direct assault on Zoroth Prime. This wasn't about defense. It wasn't about survival. It was justice. Earth's orbital foundries had forged new ships in secret, powered by Ravenna's ancient tech. Titan-class exowalkers were dropped from orbit like meteor strikes. Gravity wave disruptors blanketed the skies, disrupting Zoroth's planetary defense grid. Zoroth Prime had never been touched by war. It was the jewel of the Dominion. And now it was on fire. In the high tower above the burning city, the Zoroth Emperor stood alone. His court was dead. His warlords had either fled or been executed for cowardice. All he had left was rage. "Send the obliteration protocol," he ordered. "Wipe them all out, our cities, our archives, everything. If we die pure." But his command was intercepted. Ravenna had infiltrated the Zoroth communication web. Instead of triggering a mass planetary purge, his signal was rerouted to every civilian broadcast channel on Zoroth Prime. His people watched him order their deaths in real time. That's when the first Zorath mutiny began. Rains, now wearing advanced Earth Prime hybrid armor, landed with a mixed strike force of humans and alien allies. They pushed toward the Emperor's fortress, street by street. They weren't met by Zorath warriors. They were met by citizens, some terrified, others offering surrender, and more than a few. Joining them, inside the palace, Rains came face to face with the Emperor. Old, fanged, wounded. "You should never have awakened," the Emperor snarled. "You primitive mongrels were meant to stay in the dirt." Rains stared coldly and replied, "We remembered. You should have been afraid of that. You didn't kill the Emperor. Let the Zoroth people do it themselves." With Zoroth Prime lost, the rest of the Dominion fractured in days. Systems fell out of control. Outposts declared independence. Slave worlds revolted. Warships turned on each other. No more orders came. No more reinforcements. The once mighty Zoroth Empire that ruled for thousands of years was gone. Earth didn't just defeat them. Earth ended them. The Broken Worlds Pact renamed itself the Free Galactic Assembly, and at its first council, held aboard a rebuilt Zoroth city ship, they chose Earth to lead the next chapter. Ravenna was installed as strategic advisor. Michael Rains refused political power but accepted a command seat in the new defense fleet. And for the first time in recorded galactic history, humans were not considered primitive. They were considered essential, but far away at the edge. Of all known space, deep scan satellites picked up a signal, one not seen in 11,000 years. Ravenna froze mid-sentence. "No, it's too soon." The transmission wasn't a message. It was a warning. A single black glyph, spiral wrapped in flame. Ravenna whispered, They're coming back, the ones who erased us. In deep space, far beyond the former Zorth borders, a black star flickered, then disappeared. Not collapsed. Not destroyed, just gone. The Free Galactic Assembly gathered in panic. Worlds went dark overnight. Kyre fleets vanished without a trace. Earth received a single fragmented signal. It's not invasion, it's erasure. Ravenna stared at the data in silence. She had seen this before. 11,000 years ago. They've awakened, she said. And they're coming to finish what they started. The ones who erased us before. The architects. Inside the ancient core beneath Antarctica, a locked vault cracked open. Ravenna had never dared access it. Until now, inside Michael Raines and the Earth leadership found the truth. Earth was not humanity's origin. It was its exile. Humanity once ruled the stars, a vast, advanced empire beyond comprehension. They built civilizations across galaxies, created artificial minds like Ravenna, mastered gravity, time, even death. But they became arrogant, and the architects came. No one knew. If the architects were machines, entities, or something stranger, they didn't conquer. They didn't negotiate. They erased. Humanity for Tand lost. One world remained. Earth, Ravenna, was programmed to forget until now. You are not Earth's children, she whispered. You are its survivors. Ravenna initiated protocol. Rebirth, buried under thee. Oceans, mountains, and forgotten ruins, lost technology began to activate. Floating cities rose from the Mariana Trench. Orbital forges lit up around Jupiter. The moon's dark side cracked open to reveal a massive fleet silent for millennia. Humans across Earth began experiencing flashes, visions, instincts, memories of lives they never lived. Because they weren't new, they were returning. Raines felt it too, not as a soldier, but as a general of the old empire. A black rift opened in space, not a ship, not a fleet, a hole in reality itself. Through it came the first wave. Geometric machines that didn't move, they shifted. Folding space, rewriting physics. Everything they touched disappeared. Entire stars blinked out like candles. The Free Galactic Assembly tried to fight. They were crushed in hours. Only one force stood untouched. Earth, not because of strength but because of recognition. The architects had faced humanity before and now. They were cautious. Ravenna uploaded herself into the ancient ship Saul's Wrath, the last war vessel of the old empire. It awakened with a low hum, the sound of gravity reshaping itself. Earth's new fleet assembled, old and new allies alike. Humans piloting phase-shift mechs with eye-linked minds. Dallin, psionics amplifying ancient war tech. Varelian stormships, powered by star-core reactors. At the front stood Michael Raines. No longer the same man from Earth, he remembered everything. We're not fighting for survival anymore, he said. We're fighting for remembrance. Battlefield was not just space, but time, thought, and identity. The architects tried to unmake Ravenna. She resisted with data. From 11,000 years ago, they tried to erase the fleet. The human pilots held their memories together through sheer will, guided by instincts buried deep in their DNA. It wasn't just a battle, it was a resurrection, in the end. The architects faltered. They realized the truth. Humanity wasn't primitive. It was resilient. It's the only species that could forget everything and still become dangerous again. The rift closed. The void retreated. And the stars burned brighter than ever before. Raines stood on the rebuilt Saul's Wrath Bridge, surrounded by humans and aliens who had once doubted Earth. A new map of the galaxy glowed before them. Dozens of worlds had been saved. Hundreds more had joined the cause, and one word stood at the center. Earth. Ravenna spoke one last line. They feared what we were. Now they will witness what will become. Fade to black. End of series. They laughed at primitive humans. Then the Galactic War came to Earth.